Heather and I have been really big on efficiency and time management. And we have the Per Optimizer that Heather's built, her $30,000 planner, the Magic Time system. And now we're moving into, or not moving into, but adding Efficiency Unleashed. And it's really important that we go back a little bit and talk about why we're so in love with efficiency. So Heather, we joke about your love language being efficiency and how it should be identified as a love language. And as I was working through this yesterday, a few things happened. And I realized that efficiency is really probably all of our love language. And we've been conditioned by society as a population to really reward efficiency and love it. And our clients and our team members also expect efficiency now. And so why I say this is when I go on Amazon, I can get whatever I need today. I can go right on the app. I don't have to do anything. I just click what I want. And more times than not, it's on my front door by the end of the day. Sometimes I have to wait until tomorrow. And if I want groceries, I just go on Instacart, I put my list in, and the groceries show up at the time that I want them to show up. If it's your birthday in San Diego, I can send you all your favorite snacks through DoorDash. I don't have to plan. I don't have to think ahead. I don't have to make my life efficient. Other people have made things so efficient for me that I can just do the things I want to do when I want to do them. And all of the big companies have made it easy to be the customer and be the client. And we're crazy to think that our clients don't care if we're inefficient or if we make the barrier to entry hard for them to talk to us. If they want to sell their house, they should be able to call me, submit a form on my website, book directly on my calendar, or however is easy. Most agents now are like, in order to get an appointment with an agent, you almost have to go through this gatekeeper, but the gatekeeper doesn't exist because the agent is inefficient. And so agents will be like, no, I'm not meeting you to tell you how to buy a home. You have to come to my office, or you have to come somewhere that's convenient for me. And those buyers or those clients are going to work with someone else who will go meet them at the Starbucks that's next to their house, or who will send them all the information in a PDF over email so they can review it. We've become so stuck in this model of we have the information, so you have to come into my world. And when we make them come into our world, they're going to bounce. They'll go to the Amazon world. So that's why we're pushing efficiency so much. And yesterday, where it kind of all unfolded for me was my team member, Alex, his AC went out. And yesterday was the first day that it was over 90 degrees in Denver. And he lives on a second-story condo. So it was like 84 degrees in his house and completely miserable. So he called me and he's like, bro, my AC's out. And I was like, oh God, that sucks. I'm not going over there. But we own properties and we have a management business. So we just did some basic troubleshooting over the phone. And I was like, hey, is the unit outside, is it like humming, but it won't come on? And he goes out there and he's like, yeah, it's actually like making a buzzing noise, but it won't, the fan's not spinning. And I was like, oh, I bet you it needs a capacitor. I'll be over there in like 10 minutes and we'll swap it out and we'll see if that works. So you don't have to wait for the repair guy. So we go over there, we take it apart, we get the capacitor out. I go on Google Maps and I just search HVAC supply companies near me. And it pulls the list up. And there's a company that's 2 miles away and a company that's 10 miles away. So I go to the 2 mile company, I go on their website, and I'm trying to find this part. And their website looks like it was built on the same platform as the original Oregon Trail on Apple. Like I can't figure it out. I can't get anywhere because I don't know the lingo that HVAC people use. I don't know what the part number is. I don't know any of this information. So I can't enter into their world to buy a part from them, to give them money. So I'm frustrated. We're sitting in his condo. It's 84 degrees. My house is 68 degrees. So it's real hot for me. And I go on the next website and I click on parts for the company that's 10 miles away. And on the parts, they have pictures and it's like furnace, AC, water heater. And I'm like, okay, click on AC. And then it tells me to pick my brand. I pick the brand, I pick the size. It runs me through the funnel. And then it says, here's the part you can buy. And that's a capacitor. I click on capacitor and it's like, do you want to pick up in the store? Have us ship it to you. I click pick up in store, I pay. And then it says, when you come to pick up in the store, bring your old capacitor so we can verify that it's the right one so you don't have to make 2 trips. And I'm like, okay, genius. Like these are the people who understand efficiency. So we drive 10 miles, which is 5 times the distance of the other store, just so we can work with someone efficiently. We get there, tell him we have an order for David. He pulls it up. He goes, did you bring the old capacitor? Yes. He looks at it and he goes, yep, that's it. And then he goes, did you take a picture of the wires before you disconnected them, or do you need a wiring diagram? And I was like, oh, I actually took a picture, but how smart. You must have had people struggle with this in the past. And he's like, yeah, they always call us because they don't know what to do. So we can print you a wiring diagram, or you can go on our website and there's one available that's really easy to follow. And so yesterday we're driving back to his condo that's hotter than Hades. And we're just talking about businesses and efficiency. And I'm like, this is the ideal business, right? I didn't know them. I didn't know anything about their company, but they made it so easy to take my money. I didn't even care. I didn't even know how much they charged versus the other company. I just was happy that somebody made it easy for me to work with them. And so that's all Heather and I want, is we want you to build businesses that are easy for consumers to come into your world. Because when it's easy for them to come into your world, you'll be more profitable, you'll be less stressed, your team members will be less stressed when things are running efficiently. And the last part that I want to say on this before we move into efficiency in community events is that as entrepreneurs, we have to know 100, maybe even 1,000 different things that need to be happening. We don't have teams that run social media, teams that run print marketing, teams that run YouTube marketing, and run our sales team and manage our transactions. We don't have all of that, but so we have to be involved enough to know how it operates. But what happens is that's a curse, because when we're involved in the social media campaign and then we don't understand it, or we can't make it run how we think it should run, we abandon it. And then we tell the team member, oh, we're not doing that anymore. We're doing it this way. And then we try and run it, but we don't understand it and we don't run it efficiently, so we abandon it. And so we're constantly being our biggest problem in our business by not running things efficiently. So when you take Efficiency Unleashed, take the Per Optimizer, take the $30,000 planner, and you apply it, everything will become smoother for you. It's not going to be easy. Like Heather will tell you that getting your time management in order is not something that happens overnight, but long-term, there will be huge rewards. So that's why we're so passionate about time and efficiency, and Heather loves it. So that's why we're here. Now we're just going to dive into community events now that I've told my story about an air conditioner. And while I get that set up, Heather, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I love that story. And first of all, what an amazing process. And for anybody that thinks that having certain aspects of your business automated and having a high level of service like what David just explained, if you think that that is a luxury or an amenity, you need to change your mindset. It is now an expectation. And so moving forward, a lot of what David's going to show you, and also for those of you that missed your replay or that missed your webinar with your 5 automations that you made, definitely go back and review those because they are phenomenal. So I'm going to let you run, because you have now become what I consider the king of community events. That's what I consider you now. Like, you're always, when I see what you put together and how you show up in your community, it always just blows my mind how much you do, how well it's thought out, and how consistent it is. So this will be amazing.
Yes, I'm excited. Okay, so here we go. It's going to be a little janky for just 1 second, but I think it will be okay. Are we good now? Okay, cool. All right, so here we go on Efficiency Unleashed for community events. So as we roll into community, I want to share that community events can be more than just like a geo farm or something inside of a neighborhood. When you're thinking of your community, it can be your climbing club, it can be your motorcycle club, your PTA, your kids, soccer club, your mom group, whatever it is. These things can be applied to whatever community you're going to build. I have modeled this off of my geographic farm, but everything in the optimizer can be applied to that. So let's dive in. So building the community, I love all these fun photos that I've accumulated over the years. But what I will tell you is when you build your community and you run it efficiently, you are rewarded in more ways than you'll ever know. Financially, of course, but other ways are people become the connector. People cheer for you. People want you to be successful even behind closed doors. And I'll share this email that I got on the 26th from somebody that I met from my geo farming. She tells me some details up here, but right here, she just said, if you're not interested, no big deal. I just feel like you should know these things when they come up. So her son's neighbor is selling his house, and she inserted herself into the conversation to get me a connection. So when you show up and you give and give and give to your community, you're rewarded in so many ways. And this is one of those examples that happened this week. And I really think the universe gives us exactly what we want when we need it. I'm not saying that you don't have consequences from bad choices, but when I'm putting this presentation together this week, and then I get this email from somebody I know who's like, I just want you to know somebody's selling their house and I think they should hire you. And then the second part of this on this slide is a few years ago in my community, we had an Easter egg hunt, and you can see that it snowed. Snow in Colorado is so unpredictable. It snowed the morning of, and I was so nervous that nobody was going to come. But I'm going to play a quick clip of it. Like, look at all these kids in their boots coming to an Easter egg hunt. It's freezing, but everybody came, and people showed up with their dogs, and they were so appreciative. I had so many people offer to bring me coffee because they knew I was out there hiding Easter eggs in the snow. So when you show up and provide insane value, the community shows up for you, the community that you build. And then you get to be more and more authentic. You get to be the true you, and they love you for it. So I just want to point that out. I have this silly picture of this Easter bunny. And then we were making a reel this year at the Easter egg hunt, and you can see I get hit in the face with an egg. And at first I was like, oh, this is stupid. But I posted that in the reel, and me getting hit in the face was everybody's favorite part. And now that I think about that, maybe it's not because they all love me. But people engage with the real you, and getting hit in the face with the Easter egg is the real me. Black polo and jeans at an event is the real me. I'm not the guy who shows up in a 3-piece suit, but I get rewarded by being me and serving my community. And so when you work it efficiently, it's fun. When you don't have an efficient system in place, it becomes a chore and it's laborious and you hate it. So let's talk about how to find a community that you can serve efficiently. So like I said earlier, your community can be anything. It can be anything that you identify with and that you connect with. And that's on both sides of this Venn diagram. And then when you bridge that gap of bringing the community together, connecting people, that's where all the magic happens. And you can see that I made this little magic thing that I love so much. But it's true in what happens when you build a community. And Heather and I are going through this right now as we build the Good Life community. Heather came up with this idea, and I was all in, 6 months ago. But the magic of what's actually happened is so different than what we thought was going to happen. And that's my example of there are multiple communities you can be building. It doesn't have to be a geo farm. It can be a community of agents, a community of whatever people you have in common with connection. So when you're thinking of the community that you want to serve, before you move into serving the community, I would say try to figure out what resonates with you when you want to serve this community. Are you a person who is like you love charity events. Do you want to put on a big, a big event that, takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort, but maybe it's once a year, where hundreds of people come? Do you want to look at doing more of a community service model, and not like judge ordered community service, more of like serving the people you love, not picking trash up off the highway? Do you look at more of like fun and games? Are you like competitive like I am? Like most of my stuff is based around having fun, but there's always a game of Connect Four or something happening on the side. Are you large scale gatherings, like I do? Or are you more of like a smaller wine happy hour at your house or at a friend's house type of thing? And then also last thing is, are you a connector? If you are not a person who enjoys having conversations with lots of people, or you don't want to look for opportunities to connect other people, then you need to find a community that you can serve well without having to be the connector. And that's totally cool. I'm not saying that you have to be a connector. The other thing is, the things that resonate with you, it could be a blend. It doesn't have to be charity events or fun and games. You can put those together. Most of my events are mixed together between community service, fun and games, large scale, and then being the connector. So think about what resonates with you, and then you can move into the community part of it. So I have this quote that I lead all of my team meetings with when we're building community events or planning events. It's actually on the top of all the agendas. So it says, alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. And of course, that's from Helen Keller. And it's so important to remember, when you're building community, if you're trying to do it by yourself, it's painful. Like, you'll get upset, you'll get frustrated, it'll be inefficient, and you'll give up. And I don't think that if I tried to do a good life on my own, it would be what it is today. And hopefully Heather feels the same way about me, but I hope her life be a little bit better on this. But when you look at building your community together, it'll be great. And then when you look at the community that you serve, when you're in that community, it gets better. And as we move through, I had to check my next slide, sorry. As we move through this part of it, when you're building your community and you're looking at doing things in a partnership or together, I just want to share, as we've worked on Good Life, like I said before, it's not what we thought it was going to be. It's magical, and I love every minute of it as we've built it. But the plan has changed significantly over the last 6 months. And that wouldn't happen if I was by myself. So if you're looking at building a community and serving this community efficiently, I have to tell you, you need to get yourself a Heather. I don't care if that Heather is on the other side of the world. Like, you need to get a Heather, because when you have a Heather, the hard things become easier, and you build this community, and it's rewarding. And if it was alone, I could only do so little, but together we're doing so much. So that wasn't part of the plan. Heather didn't know I was going off script today, but you need to get yourself a Heather before you try and build a community, however that Heather is going to be in your life. So let's talk about the things that I'm doing. And these are the things that you can apply to anything in your business or your community building, or the application can be applied. You don't necessarily have to do it this way. So my 4 that we do, and that the module will be available for purchase soon, is Easter egg hunt, garage sales, movie nights, and fall festivals. So 2 of these events are, all the events are community connector events. 2 of the events I use to gather data and information to add to my list to help my business. And that would be the garage sale and the fall festival. The Easter egg hunt and the movie nights I use to really be face-to-face with people in the group, saying hi to all the kids, being excited for them, because those are the events for the children. And the Fall Fest is too. The Fall Fest kind of blends everything together. And I'm going to show you what I mean by data collection versus being a connector here. So the first thing we do is we have the community events optimizer. And this is 4 steps that we take on every single thing that we do regardless of where it falls in data collecting or connecting. So we always do a Facebook event to invite everybody who's on the community Facebook page. We always do direct mail invitations. A lot of people, I've said this before, but a lot of people say that direct mail is dead. I love getting mail because the only mail I get is junk. So when I get something else, it's pretty cool. We have banners at both of the community entrances, and you could do banners in school entrances or whatever. And then the last thing is community cross promotion. And so what I mean by that is there are people, when you start building the community, there are people that become your advocates inside of the community. And one of them comes to the top of my mind for my geographic farm. Her name is Shelly. And she is also similar to Leanne, who sent me that email. I think that she would like stop traffic on the highway if she saw somebody might be selling their house to connect me. Like that's how committed she is to me. And she's probably never going to sell her house. I'm probably never going to do a real estate transaction with her, but she believes in me so much that she tries to connect me. So anytime we have a community event going on or coming up, I always go to Shelly. And this is what I say to her. I go, hey, Shelly, we have the movie nights coming up this Saturday. You and I both know everybody loves you on your block. When you're on your walk tonight with your kids, will you just make sure everybody knows that it's this Saturday and that they'll come? And she's like, oh yeah, of course, I'm going to tell everybody. So I know that Shelly is not going to tell everybody on her block. She's going to go on her walk and she's going to tell everybody in the neighborhood. And not everybody in the neighborhood is on Facebook, or they may just throw my mail away, or they may become desensitized to seeing the banners. But Shelly becomes the person who goes to the neighborhood and is like, hey, don't forget David is doing the movie night this weekend. And she's going to tell them how much she loves me. And that's not an ego thing. That's just what happens. So I use her as my cross promotion. And I tell her that, like, hey, you are my biggest promoter. So I'm going to tell you when I need you to help me. And who doesn't love to help somebody? She's going to help me. She's going to do it. And if you get 2 or 3 of those people inside of your community who are also advocating for you, your list grows and it becomes more efficient and it becomes more rewarding to do the events and put the work in. So let's talk about Easter egg hunt. So on the left here is the postcard that goes out. And this template, again, will be available to you. So we send that out. And then on the right-hand side are the signs that we had made, to rope ages off, and then also where for Easter Bunny photos on the top there. So this event is not a data collection event. It's just getting the community together. The Easter egg hunt is, in the spring in Colorado, we're basically locked in our house from December 1 to March 31st because of the snow or because it's cold. So this is the first event of the year that gets everybody back together and reconnecting. And it's only about 30 minutes start to finish, but it's one of the most rewarding because everybody's so excited to see each other. Oops, I went backwards there, sorry. Next one is the garage sale. So this one is more of a data collection event for me. So the top is the example of the banner that you can make. And then the bottom is the postcard that goes out. So the postcard, this is really important. So we put the QR code on the postcard to get people to sign up. And then with that information, we do multiple things, which I'm going to show right here. And we do let me just go back. We do the garage sale twice a year, spring and fall. And I really love the garage sales because that's my one-on-one time with homeowners in the community because I'm bringing them coffee and donuts, or bringing the participants coffee and donuts. But I get to go in, I get to show up at their house. They're excited to see me because who doesn't love a donut? And then I get to engage in some conversation with them. I get to learn about, they're getting rid of some stuff because they're done having babies and their kids are moving into school age, or some people in the neighborhood, their kids are leaving for college, or some people are downsizing. That people who are having garage sales, if they're unloading their whole house, they're probably going to sell their house. So that's the time that I get to have with them to make my pitch. And if I wasn't running a garage sale, I would never know that they were cleaning out their entire house to get ready to sell. And now on the data collection side is they scan the code, they go to this Google form, they put in their information of when they're going to sell. With that information, I'm able to make the map for the community. And then they get this email from me that says that I've got them set up. And then every email that goes to the community, I just have this quick PS like, hey, I love working with Quebec Highlands homeowners. Click here to schedule a call if you're considering selling your home or purchasing your next home. So I get their email because I'm being helpful, but also I get to make a pitch for my business as well. From there, they go to my email list, and then they go to Facebook retargeting. And this is really powerful because what's happening when you're building this community is you're in their mailbox because you're doing your direct mail farming. You've been in their driveway, giving them coffee and donuts, and then you're retargeting them online. So they're seeing ads that are specific to what you have going on in their community. So my retargeting list for my farm is really small, but it's very specific. And so now they're seeing those ads for them. And then I'm now omnipresent. Like it's like literally everywhere they go, there I am. So I become the no-brainer choice when it's time to do something real estate related. And having a retargeting audience in Facebook is super easy to do. It seems overwhelming, but it's super easy to set up. But it's one of those layers of efficiency where you're constantly marketing to them without having to do a lot of work. So you are the efficient marketer and you're in their face nonstop, but not by cold calling them or asking them if they know anybody who wants to buy or sell, or if they've had any thoughts of selling those terrible scripts. You're not doing any of that. You're just running an efficient sales business that's focused on branding. And then the last thing that we do from this data collection, I put some bingo balls on here because I love bingo, but we do some like giveaways. So throughout the year, we'll do, put $100 on a Starbucks card, post the link to the card, and they can scan it, get a coffee on me. We could do a giveaway for a dinner or whatever it is. But by doing those things, I'm doing those things anyway with my people in my database that I like, or my A-list people, but I can do it with my community that I serve. And then it's like, oh, hey, David does, he does the Easter egg hunt, he does the garage sale, he does the movie nights, and he'll randomly send me to coffee. Like you start to become the no-brainer by doing these really small, easy, efficient things. And doing a Starbucks card giveaway, it takes me like 3 minutes to load the card and then post a screenshot of it and send it out, versus trying to do some raffle or door knocking or whatever. So movie night, this is more of a connector, not a collector night. We do 3 of these, June, July, and August. And the way that we've built them now is June and July are like traditional kid movies. This last one in June we did was Up. And then August, we do kind of a throwback movie. So now we do, like last year in August, we did Sandlot, which was a lot of fun. But what it did was it brought out all the people who wouldn't have normally come to movie night because they're so kid oriented. And the people who have kids are still going to come to movie night because, Sandlot's a cool movie. So now I've connected more people to each other and their community and brought more people together just by tweaking, one movie. Inside the movie night, we have a food truck, we have the fun and games, the yard games, we provide the popcorn and drinks and the bounce houses. And then right before the movie starts, I just go, I grab a microphone, I thank everybody for coming. I introduce myself again. Most people know who I am, but I take that opportunity to connect people. So inside of my community, there are small business owners, there's plumbers, there's HVAC people, there's an electrician, whatever it is. So I just look for an opportunity to connect. What happened at this last movie night was I was talking to somebody whose water heater went out that day, and Kurt is in the neighborhood who's a plumber. And so, I did my spiel, thanked everybody. And then I just said, hey, our community is getting to the age where people's water heaters are failing. I just talked to a family whose water heater failed. Kurt is back there in the pavilion in the blue polo. He's a plumber. Go talk to him if you're nervous about the water heater or if you need any plumbing work. And so I connected all these people to Kurt. Kurt was thankful, of course, for the connection, but the neighborhood is thankful that there's somebody here who can help them. And they immediately have that layer of trust because he lives in the neighborhood, but also I made the connection. And so I've now efficiently made an advocate out of Kurt by doing that. I just find those opportunities. And then everybody else in the neighborhood is also thankful because I've saved them time of having to try and find a plumber, or if somebody's trustworthy or whatever, I just was doing my normal thing. So when you take those opportunities in the connector events, like the movie nights or the Easter egg hunts, then you start to become more and more loved, which makes it more efficient for people to want to work with you. So Fall Fest. This one for me is the most amount of work. And this is the one where the efficiency is the most important. And we have I get some volunteers from the community to help me do this one. So at the Fall Fest, we do a chili cook-off, a cakewalk, a pumpkin carving contest. We have photos. We usually have a petting zoo. So what I've done now is for each section, like the chili cook-off, the cakewalk, etc., I ask people in the community to help me. And so what happens there is I'll be like, hey, Amber, and hey, I don't know, Alex, because he's in that photo, will you please help me run the chili cook-off? It's done. I have the form set up. All I need you to do is run the table and do a couple posts in the community to get people to sign up. And they'll be like, yeah, sure, of course. But what that does for me is I've built the efficient system. I can't just be like, hey, can you run a chili cook-off? Because they won't know what's going on. And then it'll be inefficient, it'll break, it'll be stressful for all of us. But when I give them the chili cook-off and say, can you just run it like this? They'll do it. But they become my advocate in the community as well, because they're recruiting people and they're just saying like, hey, we got the chili cook-off going on. David put it together. Do you want to participate? Yes or no? And when they say yes and they show up to do it, they always end up talking about how fun it is, that we've got a fall festival going on, and they become that advocate. They would have never become the advocate if I didn't have the system built up front, because they would be frustrated with me because I didn't know what was going on. And they'd be like, David sucks at doing a community event. Like, I'm never doing this again. So the efficiencies, when you have them built right, they really unleash the opportunities for you to have people, to make it easy for people to become your advocates. And then this also is a data collector. You can see the QR code right here. So this year we're changing it up a little bit. They'll scan the QR code and then they're going to choose what they're going to participate in, sign up, and then they'll get the email. And it's the same as the garage sale email. We got you all set up, blah, blah, blah. And then we have the sign up, or, the calendar sign up if you want to sell your home. And then we do the same three things with their emails. We add them to the list, we retarget them, and then we include them in any of the giveaways that we have going on. And I will tell you that when I've had people sign up for an event and we do a giveaway, and then their neighbor wasn't included in the giveaway, they want to know why. And then they'll usually just email me or message me on Facebook, and then I can just add them to the list. So by just doing these little small things, you just keep growing advocacy, but you have to make it easy for people to come into your community. Otherwise, they're going to bounce and they'll never be your advocate. So let's talk about the toolbox, and then we'll be all wrapped up here on this one. So on the right is the actual optimizer plan that will be available. It goes through everything on these 4 things that we do. But on the left is what we use to get things done and make everything go efficiently. So we use Direct Mail Manager for all the mailings. Direct Mail Manager is, in my opinion, the easiest one to use and the most cost efficient. So I'm not worrying about printing and stamping and all of that. We use Google Forms to collect all the data, Zapier to put the data in our CRM, and to move it into the Facebook retargeting. So of course we use Facebook. Uprinting.com, that's the company we use for all of our banners, all the small signs we have to be made. I've found that U-printing is the most affordable, quickest turnaround time, and best quality. There's a couple of sign printing companies in town, but they were super expensive, and the turnaround time was the same as if I ordered it online. And then the last thing is Canva. I think as agents and realtors, all of us use Canva, but it's super easy to build, a brand. You can build a brand toolkit and get everything done really quickly and get postcards made. But also, Heather and I will be, as part of the efficiency module that will be for sale, you can just give us the information and we can build the brand kit for you and build all this fun stuff. So that's the toolbox on the events. That's how we make it efficient. And just again, like anything that you can do in your business to make it efficient for you, it's going to translate to your clients and they're going to be so appreciative. If you think about the next step and you let them know what's going to happen, they're going to refer you. If it's a pain and they feel like everything's chaos, you're not going to get any of those referrals if you're able to get that listing agreement signed. So that's what I have for you today. I hope that Efficiency Unleashed was good. Do you have any questions for me, Heather? Oh, wait.
I love this. Thank you. And not a ton of questions, because of course I've seen this information from you before and I know how well this works for you, all these community events. But I do love that you shared something that David has been working on, and that, oh, just so you know, we can see your screen, David.
Yeah, I was trying to fix it. Sorry.
Okay. David's been working on this Efficiency Unleashed module for you guys for a while. And what's really amazing, and when he talks about diving into areas of building out tools, communities, and the direction of good life, this is one of the areas that I don't know if we were planning on entering, but here we are. And that is actually offering the build out. We know that a lot of you don't want to be a master at the integrations, Zapier, forms, coding, all of those aspects. And luckily, David's created a system where it's really simple for you to send in a request, and our team will build this out for you with everything customized. And we're starting to build out more modules as we go of different tools and resources that we can offer you. So David talks about go get a Heather, but I would actually say get a David first.
It's like this uncomfortable love fest between the two of us.
All right, guys, you know how to reach us. Shoot us an email, or you're welcome to shoot out and send out a text directly if you have any more questions on the resources offering, or just questions for us in general.
Cool. Thanks, Heather. Have a good day.
Thanks, David. Bye.